So what is the meaning of tree? I'm going to say one life destroyed or one life being fooled. What is the meaning of 33? Two lives being fooled. Mother and son being fooled out. I'm not. I cannot endorse anymore Nikola Tesla. First of all, it is to say I cannot endorse anymore any masonry because they are simply, they do not work with symbols, and they do not discuss symbols, yet they continue to project the order. I'm going to find them at the on the position of some kind of dummies, or alternatively the one that cannot be trusted. I'm going to leave some space, however, to American tissue, but you can hardly trust a stupid person. It's dangerous to entrust stupid person. So I cannot function on substance of entrusting someone out of blank expectation. In substance, we have to conclude, because masonry meddle with such levels of affairs, masonries at this stage will need to be ground zero before we start next generation doing something else and promoting something else. As they are, it will need to be ground zero. Same for Tesla. Not same, it's worse for Tesla. Tesla, I'm going to find him completely mad and lost actually in ocean of his over ambitious work to cover as much as possible and to project his presence over it. In substance, the main problem is the identity itself, character itself, which continue to be very much shady, very much controversial figure since the death of his brother, to what he directly connects, to walking the shadows via the um, uh, story of Faust that no one talks about, certainly not his followers and his political propagandists. They completely ignore the fact that he was very much drawn into theory of Faust, which is making deal with the devil. Um, I'm going to find him as a figure that was disrespectful to a woman also, and in substance very much antagonistic in trajectory of a relationship versus Macedonia, therefore profoundly Babylonian and very much in foundations of the entire Babylonian society. That is how I'm going to find Tesla, and I'm tired of blank ticket entrusting people out of expectations, and I'm getting nothing in return. Cleaner, I am not. Cleaner to madness of humanity, I am not. Humanity is going to learn to speak correctly about people of my kind and what we are doing on earth. I'm not going to buy a rhetoric of prime societies that exist in 360 degree, in 180 degree opposition to any single position of mine, and then we talk unity. I cannot talk unity with someone that exists and functions completely against my interests and is bearing me alive on the daylight of my own work. I cannot entrust or walk anymore with such societies. I am drawing here very strong and sharp line with that Babylonian society, especially because of Tesla, especially because he manages to completely actually present that society in the real fabric of their identity and their actual personality, confusion rather than intelligence, evilness rather than character. What Yugoslavia became phenomenon is that ended up to promote money that were nothing of theirs, as they have been before first Yugoslavia to be initiated, even totally underdeveloped tribes of the territories. That all of a sudden someone invested money in them, and in 3 generations of Yugoslavia, they have become all of a sudden some kind of urban element, while still promoting their roots, tribunal roots, as mainstream platform of their entire existence. That is paradox that they still cannot even answer. Insisting to be themselves and insisting on some kind of urban level of accomplishment, while in the same time profoundly attached to their tribunal routing that belongs to capital that was invested on your territories. And then we are discussing here for 10 and more years how that capital now will need to be understood. And what are the problems and issues? That means that Europe does have problem with its own tribunal routing. And one of the biggest confusions here is artificially declared development in Yugoslavia, which has become empowering as a result tribunal element beyond its deserving point, and providing wrong impression what actually tribunal society is. That is more like you end up in some kind of Hollywood out there movie talking about Indians of America. Yes, in conditions of Hollywood movie making. When tribunal lifestyle become polished, that's not tribunal lifestyle anymore. The main problem, therefore, I want to say here is of Europe are tribunal societies, and with Yugoslavia you have that phenomenon ignited from America, which also became a phenomenon of its own, ignited Irish tribunal settlers. Maoris today in New Zealand are soap opera of tribunal society. And so are equally Serbia is soap opera of tribunal society. I just can't understand from where on earth that ongoing fascination with tribunal setting. Well, if I have accomplished at some point of civilizational development, the actual development, what ground, following what logic you are going to surface me exactly? On the logic that I have lost my prime instincts. Well, I acquired something else. I have acquired skill instead. First, civilization is not matter of enforcement. It is voluntarily. If you don't want to accept it, you should not accept it. And I can't understand the absurdity of underdeveloped world that as we speak still depend highly on excavation of something none of them wants to talk about, yet very eager to take the crown of humanity and continue to define the entire world by their fake narrative about building civilizations, and who is to be nomination account for civilizational declarations. So Africa, let's talk in real terms about this earth. Africa, you want to declare earth. Not before Africa, we actually make this discussion with me, Africa, and you explain to me what actually is earth via what actually you are excavating. Africa, which is part of the prime continent, first of all, as Africa is part of the prime continent. And then you have all of the land out there in New Zealandia under the water, part of the India continent under the water. You have civilizations that existed and actually accomplished already that we continue to notice to the present days. And you, first of all, selfishly trying to declare everything on your side, that is irrelevant to what character is shiny character, sunshine, whatever. I am not buying that you take more place or space on earth than you should. But my question of today is, therefore, the actual, real, true initial civilization of this planet. That is initial population, the character of the initial population on this planet. And in that context, what is the meaning of stars? Because I cannot give up actually on my soulmates, and today they continue to be people locked in some kind of entertaining industry as entertainment in category of entertainment. Well, actually their performance is not just art, but very much is demonstrating something that is matter of expression, and expression is matter of identity and personality. And we, in most of the cases, reach here a real explosion of what is hiding under the skin of these characters, considering myself in such category. You discover here entire universe under the skin of these people. And therefore, Africa, I will never buy less that stand above what clearly is more. Not more of requesting, but more of withholding, of being, of representing. No one is moving nowhere now until we establish the real matrix of humanity and the real dimension of humanity, because most of you continue to drag your bodies on surface of everything and believe that that is what is the meaning of the word surfacing everything. Floating like some kind of foam or something and declaring human from such position, that is ridiculous. So I'm going to declare today my army and my circles undoubtedly being exactly these kind of people that are capable to not just express such a range of emotions and mental state, but actually being like that, withholding that dimension. That is where I declare today human. That is where human today gets declared, and that is where I'm going to bring my temple. And then I'm going to question the other side of Israel, the other side of Serbia tribunal, the other side of Africa tribunal, and the other side of Amazonia tribunal, the other side of everyone tribunal that exists on parameters of hunters appropriating our wealth and commanding our lives as they are more, well, they are obscure, mental, less of integrity and less of intelligence and less of character and less of rights to surface our existence. Yes, I'm going to make that a revolution. And I'm going to start humanity from that point onwards. And the animals continue to call it high vibe or high alcohol, under influence of alcohol. Excuse me. Let's establish the standard first, and then we talk who is out of it. Therefore, by recognizing what is the actual code of human on this planet, we also recognize the actual code of the realm itself. This is planet of creativity. And as long as we do not recognize the actual subject attached to this planet, we will never understand the planet itself and the nature of planet itself. As long as the real protagonist, the real planetary subject, continue to be suppressed and withheld, we will continue not comprehending the real true nature of this realm. Therefore, any science technically makes very little sense because it exists in prefabricated conditions and emerges out of enormously controlled and prefabricated conditions, and then you call it science. Simply, that cannot be legitimized on much more absolute levels. It would exist with some kind of in-boxed reality, very much relative to certain scenario projected by certain category of people. That's all. What appears as most important next stage from where we are right now is to declare monarchy, therefore, accordingly as a protocol that would be associated directly to subjects that are on first account associated to the entire fabric of this planetary existence. Therefore, monarchy will need to be associated and assigned with people of my caliber, of caliber that bring creativity as principal energetic setting of their identities. That is where monarchy would be sitting as a matter of representing the actual nature of the principal protagonist of the planet, that is being that human as a creative subject. Matrix of humanity, therefore, get established here by the monarchy protocol, representing exactly such protocol. That will depart from where we are right now, where monarchies exist more as a cork on top of the bottle of wine, as a cork on top of the actual civilization, an actual civilizational setting. Therefore, what we call artists of the planet are actually the true inhabitants of the planet. And everything else is just some kind of genetic dust that is happening around them. From there, it would go expression stardust. Well, basically, we talk about genetic dust, genetic outflow. Now, what is also here critical and important for my work is to recognize that the centerpiece of this entire protocol is actually this kind of identity I recognize here, I detect here with my performance. That does have brings not just a creative protocol, but also step ups in terms of crafting or directing and commanding the realm as well, which is very much matter of establishing or indicative of history of establishing such protocol in the previous times within its actual fabric and within its actual nature and by its actual nature. I wouldn't say here that something has been gained within crossbreed, because here you reach absolute levels of all of the existence on some kind of universe related grounds. And here everything starts from much more generalized, much more absolute dimensions, and then get fractioned into specifics. So therefore, I'm going to assume that this presentation happens as a matter of fact that intelligence is much more comprehensive, and it constitutes of different aspects, as intelligence is complex matter, but not obscure. Therefore, intelligence does not exist at point of obscurity of anything. That is vital to be noticed as well. Now, this all of a sudden becomes very opposing to the entire idea of socialism movement and spreading the income across the general population on equal ratio. But then always some monkeys get, by the merit of force majorly, get above the crowd, and everything become dictatorship and matter of collective obedience for the purpose of collective good. Yet couple of monkeys are surfacing the planet. That is how totalitarian system happen immediately on next level, because in initial step everything was artificially averaged and everything was artificially equally empowered. And that is what I'm going to question today as a matter of certain philosophy that certainly continue to be favored by majority of the population of the planet. No doubt about it, because usually everything comes to extreme poverty and extreme miserable living, and that continue to be used as excuse to jump into another extreme, to average everything. I think it's much more rational that we talk about different scale of problems here, rather than about one system that's going to simplify everything. Therefore, we have one stage where we talk about minimum income within the societies, and that's the minimum scale beyond which a society cannot allow its members, its people, to exist or to live. And then the line where actually everything above the minimum income become matter of competitiveness, matter of accomplishing certain success, certain profiling by education, by skills, by yes, combination of both, obviously, and build your lifestyle adequately to what you accomplish on personal level, which becomes not therefore a matter of everything getting averaged. In that context, it's easy to bring monarchy within some kind of more I'm not going to say abstractness, but more absoluteness of its own identity and its own existence, bringing its laboratory of creativity as a matter of its own laws of living in this realm, and laws by which we, on whatever scale, no matter on whatever scale, found ourselves still need to abide in terms of rules of wisdom we acquire within our parameters. So that is going to be my answer to what kind of system we need for now and for the future. Well, that one, the civilizational one. This is big no to oversimplified socialism that as we speak confiscate my entire income, confiscate my entire presence, confiscate my entire freedom, translate it into some money that work towards dehumanization of my existence, generalization of my income on level of some kind of society average exploitation of resources, and bring in a consequence actually nothing less but enslaving the planet itself. Neither we can call that humanity, neither we can call that planet art. That is where we are right now. So big no, not just socialism. I'm not going to even use any more reference that much of socialism without thinking to tribunal societies actually, and the initial prime wisdom that at some point of time of cracking of the previous civilizations re-emerged in its opportunistic manner from highly predatory stages, and continue to run as such this world to the present days as we speak. At this stage, I step out of territories that until recent I have been calling my lands, and I submerge. I wouldn't say submerge, but I would say merge myself with Western principles on the core value system that are specifically in direction of accomplishments, personal accomplishments, and a correct system of hierarchy. We are aware that West is equally today some kind of lost. It's not exactly crossroad, but rather lost direction or lost orientation. So we are still altogether moving out of the previous prejudices, searching for always better and most correct answers, and that is the where I'm stepping up here on the level of the one that already have accomplished something on this earth and have ended to call that heritage based on their accomplishments and accomplishment of their kind. So they somehow bring themselves within the right to continue from that accomplished heritage, to continue to speak development and to continue to bring development and continue to navigate development, which is critically important factor. Critically important managing development, I'm going to find critically important factor in any given time. I'm not going to destroy all of the bridges with territories from where I originate. There are a couple of friends that I would still like to think of, to talk about, or to reconnect eventually. Yet that's all going to be very much conditional upon on where we find ourselves, on what vibe we find ourselves, and how possible it becomes reconnecting, but that is more, therefore it would be happening on personal level, on collective level. I step out from these territories. I have lost trust that they have capacity to step up on this with me. I'm going to find them much more seriously stacked in the previous. And the collective wisdom there is very low level. It's very opportunistic, very, very afraid, I'm going to say, to experiment. These are very much on the edge territories, would not have enough courage to experiment on that scale. And that is not what people of my profile would find exactly as walking next to them. This is political artistry to a great extent, and it requires suitable surrounding for it.